Hey everybody, welcome back to the Dark Future. I recorded a reaction video to this deep dive gameplay that they showed, but it just didn't come out right. I didn't like the way it looked. The audio was really messed up. So this time I'm going to do more of kind of like a running commentary. I've already watched this only once, so I'm just going to kind of pick out the little things that I saw and we'll run with that. It might be a little bit longer because I might pause it in certain points to point certain things out. So here we go.
Hey V, you alright?
Let's do
And
this.
this is one of the first things I noticed is that this ice and water looks really weird. I don't know. I think games always have a hard time of doing water, but mods will definitely fix that. Just look at Skyrim. The water in that game is beautiful with all the mods that they put out. But this is the ice bath. We've seen the screenshots of this, and it was even in the little cut-up demo thing that they showed us. So we've seen most of this. This is just kind of like a prolonged version of this. This is a whole room full of netrunners, too. And then this part where we kind of slip away into the Matrix, it reminds me a lot of Observer, if you've played Observer with Rutger Hauer. This kind of looks like that nightmare world where you go to. It's obviously a little bit different, but
Where are we?
Our BBS, data fortress. Bridge to the deep net.
the way she ran away like that, I'm wondering if we're gonna be able to do something like that
Beyond the
with our netrunners. I do like the way they made this look. This is pretty cool.
Beyond the black wall.
The other thing this net reminds me of is Lawnmower Man. This is probably my favorite part of the demo, where they're just going fucking crazy and showing all this cool stuff.
Welcome to the Cyberpunk 2077 2019 deep dive video. In last year's gameplay reveal, we showed you our vision for the world of Cyberpunk 2077, its quests, and visual design. This year, we'd like to give you a peek at some of the playstyles you'll be able to adopt as your character progresses through the story.
Your bike looks really
You're
cool.
about to
I like
see
the way the bike
sequences
looks
embodying
quite a bit.
two distinct approaches to playing Cyberpunk. We'll show you a strong solo build. That is, a character who focuses on employing blunt force.
I like
and
the guy's
taking
championship
instant
belt. A
action.
lot of these animals are wearing like
And a
championship
netrunner
belts
build,
around their neck.
A playstyle taking frequent advantage of stealth tactics, hacking, and battlefield control achieved using malicious software.
These gangers always have hilarious things to
You'll
say.
learn more about Pacific,
Even in the last
one of
demo,
the
there were a
game's
couple really
districts.
funny lines.
Two gangs, the Animals and the Voodoo Boys. And you'll see glimpses of Johnny Silverhand, the digital construct who haunts our main character, V.
And then here you're wearing the different
A word of
clothes.
caution. Given that the video covers a section of the game deep into the main storyline, we have edited the footage to contain as few spoilers as possible. Be aware that the
Most people are
gameplay
just
as
like, hurry up with the
presented
gameplay.
does reveal
We don't care about
characters
these
and
warnings.
locations
I
you'll
think
see
everybody
while
who's excited for
playing
the game has
game's
watched
main
this
story
demo.
arc. So watch at your own discretion.
I don't think anybody turned back at this point.
Where we headed? This way.
Just that screenshot. These are all
In this video,
screenshot stuff that we've
you'll
seen
experience
already.
A segment of a quest from the middle of the game. We're currently in Pacifica, one of Night City's 6 unique districts.
No Pacifica well. Nah. You guys aren't exactly great at rolling out the welcome mat for outsiders.
It was designed to be a tourist hotspot within the city. As you can see, this didn't pan out. When uncertainty struck the global economy, investors pulled their funding, leaving most establishments unfinished. It's one of those places where expectations and reality collided, resulting in a heap of disappointment.
Again, check out all the vehicles. The vehicles are really cool. They talked about that in the Q&A with the devs. They've got all kinds of vehicles playing. Armored vehicles, bikes obviously, some luxury vehicles.
It's dangerous to those unfamiliar with it. Taking a casual stroll here would not be a good idea. A fast motorbike or armor-plated car would be the
Yeah, there it
safer
is.
option. But places like this have their advantages. If you're in need of rare goods or illegal cyberware, Pacifica's bustling local markets are a good place.
Here's the inventory screen. And I like this. It also shows the little shards that you're able to put in. And then obviously the jacket and the hoodie show like their resistances that you get. But they also have the demons, which I'm assuming are like the programs, or maybe those are just the chips that, well, I guess they are the chips that you put in to upgrade your bonuses and things.
To start your search.
Here's another little section. This actually shows the stuff equipped already. Yeah, look at all those different clothing options and stuff. And then they show you resistance. These screens remind me a lot of The Witcher 3. Just the way it's all set up, the way they had the top part. And it looks like you will have a map. So...
The Grand Imperial Mall is a whole other story. It was one of the last developments in Pacifica to lose its funding. Until recently it stood vacant, but now a gang called the Animals has moved in for reasons unknown.
Something's not going right for the big guy up top.
And that's what we need to learn in order to earn the trust of the Voodoo Boys, the Animals' rivals.
What the hell?
Could fucking tell me what you plan to do first.
You take job. You do what I say. So you jack in now.
Of the many gangs in Cyberpunk 2077, the Voodoo Boys are the most skilled at using the net.
You have now seen the Rizzo Agwe, our subnet.
Why? What for?
You are my vessel now. Through Agwe, I see what you see.
Johnny in the background
This
again.
mysterious gang of highly skilled netrunners has close ties to the local Haitian community.
You are V? We have been waiting.
Haitians settled in Pacifica in the 2060s after natural disasters struck their island and forced them to emigrate en masse. The Voodoo Boys gang formed around this same time, though at a smaller scale. Now the gang effectively rules Pacifica. The Voodoo Boys don't usually work with outsiders. Lucky for us, it seems they're prepared to make an exception this time.
Mr. Hand sent me. He said you got merc work needs doing.
I wonder if that's a real
Still,
chicken that they got
to
right
earn their
there.
trust, we need to prove our worth. Placide,
By 2077, a lot of
one the
animals
Voodoo
may
Boys
have been
has
kind
offered
of
us a mission. We need to infiltrate the
repopulated.
Grand Imperial Mall,
Because I know in Red, a lot of them
occupied by
die
the
off, and the
Voodoo
only
Boys'
animals that
deadly
are around are
A gang
cloned
called
or
the
bioengineered animals.
2035-07. 3 seconds before, poof, the camionette. We try to learn where the camionette come from.
That guy is so crazy looking. Like, the animals are
not your
insane.
normal gang. Their presence in Pacifica is suspicious. They value might above all else and wear melee combat implants to raise their prowess in combat. Their beverage of choice is juice, a potent strength and speed-enhancing concoction. As sought-after bouncers, they're usually dispersed throughout town. As skilled street-level business
And there's that sign that we saw that was all broken up from Sasquatch. We didn't know what it says. Well, now we know it says leave now.
types, they've cornered
Oh, and then they've got the weak spot found there with the damage. It looks like there's different kinds of damage that enemies can take, like maybe electrical, and then like bullets, and then maybe is that like a poison or something? It's hard to say right now, but it looks like there are different kinds of damage the enemies can take.
the market in illegal substances and underground live.
Her back is insane. But this is kind of what I was pointing out before, is that a lot of the main enemies so far that we've seen have weak points in their back, because Sasquatch has this little area right here that you're supposed to shoot her in, and then in the first demo that we saw, the guy with the mech had a weak spot in his back. It's kind of a common thing, I think, with all games, to be honest.
Die prize fights. When they converge in one spot, it's for something big.
This guy, I love this guy. The cyberware on his face is insane. I hope we can get something like that in the game.
It's then they appoint the fastest and strongest among them as their ad hoc leader. In this case, it's a woman named Sasquatch.
Said you wanted my bag.
That's insane.
No. As far as I remember, you said no bone brain buffaloes on steroids. Afraid that's the cost of doing biz.
This is the tech Placide was talking about. It seems non-standard for the animals. And this is where we come in. Getting to the van won't be easy, but we're more than qualified for the job, which we can complete in one of many ways.
Here's a cool little Easter egg. This little thing right here is called Raish Bartmos' Guide to the Net. That was an original source book for Cyberpunk. So it's kind of cool that they threw that in there. And this also makes me wonder if we'll be able to collect books, like in a lot of other games, like Skyrim and things. Like they got the Max Tackway, which is the group that goes after cyber psychos. And then it just looks like there's a comic book right here. But this part's interesting.
The character creation in Cyberpunk 20.
And then this is obviously all the life paths. And what you read here is not really that descriptive. It's kind of, if you've been following Cyberpunk 2077, you know what all these backgrounds are going to be. I'm going to do a different video about all of these backgrounds because there is a source book, Home of the Brave, that talks about these in deep detail. And so I'm going to do a separate video about this, about these different life path systems.
77 is the kind you'd expect from a full-fledged RPG. You start by choosing your past, important because this unlocks special options at important story junctures. You also fully customize your character.
And then here's the controversial character creation system. I think after seeing this, nobody's going to have any problems with it. I mean, this is super generic just because it doesn't say male and female. You know.
Using a deep customization system that spans not only your look and style, but also your abilities. Cyberpunk 2077 does not feature...
Here's the big thing. They finally showed the tech tree. And this looks pretty cool. The biggest one that kind of stuck out to me was assassination, which seems kind of like a weird one. They've also mentioned that cool isn't like your cool factor, like how cool your character is. Cool is more like, can you keep your cool in the middle of a firefight? Like, are you good under pressure? And that's more of what cool is. I was a little bit mistaken by that because that's not really what cool is in Cyberpunk, but in this game it is. So, and all the rest I think is pretty basic. Two-handed, athletics, melee, assassination. Well, nerve is a little bit different too, but those are really the only ones that kind of stick out as being a little bit different.
Fixed classes. Instead, it has a fluid class system that allows players to mix and match a wide range of abilities to suit their play styles. You can create a strong solo character, a skilled netrunner, or any other hybrid class you can imagine.
This part's cool. They've hacked his cyberware and boom.
Let's see how a solo play style in Cyberpunk 2077 might work.
Solo is probably the way I'm going to end up
Prefer a
going.
direct approach. They use guns and might to get things done. So let's wreak some havoc.
I like the hit location right there.
With our enhanced strength, we can strip this turret of its weapons.
This is pretty cool too.
A taste of their own medicine. This,
because this gun is just insane. Look at that.
Abilities might live out their Terminator power fantasy. Enhanced strength lets us force open doors.
There's the strength attribute right there and work.
Grab enemies to use as human shields.
That guy right there, he was on Krasnikov. They talked about that in the developer Q&A after this stream. The reason he moved kind of quick like that is because not only can you use Krasnikov and the boosters, but your enemies can too. Then a human meat shield right there.
Powerful melee combat cyberware. So even someone as fast and strong as Sasquatch, the leader of this group of animals, is not impossible to beat for a solo.
There's the back worker. Boom. The hammer is insane.
Sasquatch has a different game plan. She's out to jack in and hack us. Let's see how this plays out.
Ready for some fun?
I think my guess about the screenshot that we saw was correct, because we can see the same little digital glitches that were in that screenshot. I like this gun.
It's our choice if we want to finish her off or spare her. You're Cyberpunk, your rules.
And this is where the pacifist playthrough comes through. You could leave her like
If
that.
you'd rather sneak around,
I don't know why you would, but you
and
can.
strike from the shadows, no problem. Just develop your net running skills to get around obstacles or hack into enemy tech to have it do the dirty work for you.
The Netrunner has some really cool abilities.
Netrunning abilities mean hacking skills that let us use our cyber deck to breach access points. For this, we fill the buffer of our
This minigame looks a little weird, but I think I had it figured out. I think once you select those, you can only go down and select another one on the same row, and then you can only select another one on that same row. Yeah.
The more instructions we match,
so there's a little bit of strategy to it.
We can hack our way through in numerous ways. A quick hack may grant us control of the security camera. Another one should let us tweak the difficulty of the
This is the part that I was waiting for, where they hack this training robot. Boom.
With our nanowire, we can even
This part's really awesome.
From a distance.
Look at this. Whoosh. Boom.
In this world, almost everything is connected to a local network.
Besides being a weapon, it's also kind of a net hacking weapon, like utility as well.
Which brings us back to cyberspace. You don't get to do anything in the net unnoticed. There's always someone watching. It could be corpos, or even worse, it could be Netwatch. And that is exactly the case here.
Who is they?
Netwatch. They're always out to fuck us.
Netwatch and the Voodoo Boys are like fire
Yeah,
and
there's
ice. The first
the
of
eddies
these
that
wants
were
to
in that
maintain the
screenshot that
old
we
order
saw.
and protect people from AI anarchy originating from beyond the Black Wall. The Voodoo Boys want to establish contact with the free AIs. They believe this will enable their boundless expansion on the net and grant them the upper hand over Netwatch.
It's weird he's watching like a old western. It's really strange. Right here. It must be like the movie theater in the mall or something.
The Netwatch agent is entirely up to you. Do we side with the gang? Choosing to be on Netwatch's bad side is never wise. But can we really trust the Voodoo Boys?
You set me up.
As you can see,
that was one of my pet peeves with this trailer, is when you watch like the blood splatter. Let me see if I can go back just a little bit. When you watch the blood splatter on this guy's face, look how strange it looks.
Do we side with the gang?
It's one of my few criticisms of what they've done so far.
But can we really trust the Voodoo Boys?
You set me up.
The way that blood splatter, it just looks weird.
Many possible options.
I don't know about
but in
that.
each case, we take a risk.
And then so the Street Kid logo is like this. It's like a graffiti S basically.
I think I'll just stick to my plan.
First time I saw this, I was like, this is a bad idea. Somebody else pointed out that Roach makes a little bit of an appearance here. Right up there. Right here. There's Roach right there. See if any of the other ones are... No, none of the other ones are really noteworthy except Roach. So Roach is Cyberpunk 2077 confirmed.
That didn't work out well. In the world of Cyberpunk, few things go as planned. And that was just a glimpse of how complex the branching storyline in Cyberpunk 2077 can get. Every decision you make will have consequences. Your choices will shape how the world reacts to you and affect your relationships with those around you. One of those relationships is special. Ever heard of Johnny Silver?
Somebody else, and I noticed this too, is that think that Johnny Silverhand's model needs a little bit of work, and I'd agree with that. Like when I see this, it doesn't even look like Keanu Reeves, and I know he did motion capture for it, so it's a little strange.
A rebel rocker boy who will be your companion throughout your adventure.
Even there, it doesn't really look like Keanu Reeves, which is cool, but it's supposed to look like Keanu Reeves.
Come on, really think they give a rat's dick how you look?
Like everyone in Cyberpunk 2077, he has his own agenda. You'll decide if he'll be your ally or your enemy. And that chip in your head, the one thanks to which Johnny lives inside your mind, well, that's a story for another time. Well...
Yep, so that's the whole deep dive video. Those are pretty much all my thoughts. I think there was a lot of cool things that we saw in there, and most of that was what I pointed out. And I still think there's work to be done. Some of the models look a little weird, like Johnny Silverhand's. And like I was talking about when she punches him, the way that blood kind of shoots out. It's kind of that way with everybody. Whenever you hit somebody, that blood kind of has like this weird little splatter effect. But other than that, it was pretty good. The only other problem I had with the demo is that they feel like they cut it up too much. Like, you don't get enough time to kind of see the gameplay, to appreciate what's going on, because it's always cut with, here's the lore, here's the gangs, here's the Netwatch, and I would have much preferred kind of the older demo was really cool. Even if they cut this demo down to half of what it was, or if they just left out the cuts, like talking about the different things, and just did the voiceover like they did with the previous demo, I probably would have appreciated that a lot more than this. I still love this. I mean, I'm still really looking forward to the game. I'm just kind of offering some constructive criticism, because sometimes it's merited. But it was pretty exciting, and I'm glad I finally got to watch it. So, as I said before, I'm going to do my new Life Pass video. Not sure when that's going to come out. I'm probably going to dive into this even a little bit more than I already have, because this is only my second viewing, and so I just pointed out the things that I noticed the first time or that other people had kind of picked out. So stick around for that one. Subscribe if you're new. Like the video, and tell me what your favorite part of the demo was, and what kind of build you're going to do. Because I definitely think I'm going to play a solo, like a Terminator type solo. Maybe with a little bit of net hacking, because some of the hacking in this demo looked really badass. That's the one thing I think I really liked the most out of this demo. So check out me out on Twitter, TheDarkFuture2, and check out my website, thedarkfuture.com, and I'll talk to you guys in the dark future.